Let's roll. Co-pilot on the passenger side, be so fly. Yeah. She so lit, we so high. Just me and my chick, yeah. Just me and my chick, yeah. Co-pilot on the passenger side, be so fly. Yeah. She so lit, we so high. Just me and my chick, yeah. Just me and my chick, yeah. She give me a bit of her love. Yo, what up, y'all? Welcome to another one, man. It's your boy Raw One, and this is Sparking Conversation. And y'all know what I do each and every week. I get up here and I talk to some of the world's most interesting people, and tonight I'm gonna do the same thing. But before we get into that, y'all know I gotta give y'all the special shout out, and that y'all is all the people that download the audio version of this platform. Thank y'all. I will not let a show go by without thanking y'all, because y'all are the reason that my platform has been moving around the world. We understand that this part right here, the visual part, of course, it moves around as well, right? But it's a thing whenever you know people are listening to you, right? It's one thing when people want to look at you, look at your guests and all that other stuff. We understand that's affecting a couple of different senses at the same time. But whenever it comes down to your platform being downloaded for the audio part, that means that the substance, the things that you're talking about, these people want to hear it. And I always got to give it up to the people that's either traveling, driving, and all that. But it's all over the world. And I think some people just want a different perspective. So, and then listening for that. So it's a lot to say about people who download audio versions of platforms, saying that they want to hear what's going on, like regardless. They want to know whatever topics that we talk about, whatever my guests are talking about, they really want to know. So thank y'all. I want to make sure each and every week I shout y'all out, because that's the real vibe. Y'all guys make my platform what it is, and it also gives me better, whenever you're doing something like this, y'all, you got to remember there comes a point in time where you have ups and downs in your platform journey where, you get a lot of views and attention. Then there's those times where it gets low, and, the algorithm is forever changing. And depending on who's in charge or who's in control, it's certain information they may not want to get out. Now, y'all know my platform is not based on clickbait or based on just what is going on out there right now with sensationalizing, celebrities and people business and talk about relationships and all that other shit that does nothing but get people in their emotions. And I understand, but if you want to grow your platform fast, that's how you do that. You get more eyes on negativity. But it's corny to me. I don't like the energy, right? I don't like negative energy, period. So I don't want to force feed it just to get my platform in a certain space. So I feel like people are clicking or liking. I don't care about that. I really don't. I don't want that energy at all. And so that's why I'm so thankful for all the people that download the audio part, because they get that, right? And all y'all that watch every week and, y'all share the playbacks and all that and the clips and all that, I appreciate y'all too. I don't want it to go unnoticed that I don't appreciate any type of support that I get for the platform. I just want other people to understand the difference between, if you are doing a platform, if you are, then you cannot allow that quick fix to turn you away from your vision or your dream, because it's not that. Yeah, you could go viral with one video, and then now people that do that, they chasing the same viral moment. No. If you keep your substance where it is, and if you stay focused and you stay grounded, whenever you got one joint that goes viral, then those same people will go back and watch everything else. So then now you got a trickle down effect versus you fighting to get everybody the attention again based on something that you put out that you didn't even know was going to do this. Right? We all put out content thinking it's the best content in the world, and we expect it to go everywhere. And then when it don't, do you get discouraged? But that's on you. I just want y'all to know that if y'all are serious about your platform and you have one, and you want to make sure your audio is out, click the link in the description, RSS feeds. Go ahead and start distributing your audio version now. Don't wait. Put your joint out. Let people hear it. Don't worry about it's no different than people who read books. I'm telling y'all, if they got people out here who are selling out books, I mean, people are still sitting down reading, then there are people that are listening to your podcast. Just think about that, y'all. Come on, don't look at it as, man, ain't nobody gonna listen to no 2-3 hours. No, you won't listen. People out there want to hear what they want to hear, and they like what they like. And if people are sitting down reading books, right? Because we still got top sellers out here, right? We still got people who sell millions of books. Somebody read. somebody sitting down taking the time to consume or intake information. Millions of people from what I'm understanding. So same thing with y'all, man. Y'all got that in y'all just gotta, keep pushing, man. I'm gonna always motivate my other content creators, man. There's no need for you guys to sit on the sideline because you ain't viral yet. Just keep pushing. And just make sure that your content is worth making sure that you stay consistent, right? Don't do things against your moral code just because you want to get a few clicks and stuff like that. Like, let's not do that. All right, yo. That was not my rant, so don't confuse that, y'all. Hold on, we're gonna get into that, but we got to get into this real quick because y'all know the vibes. We don't wait, we create. It is coming Saturday, August 22nd at the Silk Bar and Lounge in Mooresville, North Carolina. I want y'all in the building. We got Vincent M. Ward from The Walking Dead. He will be here chopping it up with all the inspiring actors, actresses, and filmmakers. Y'all want to get this information because why? You guys, he's already in the business where you guys want to be. And remember, we don't wait, we create. Not we looking for somebody to give us a handout. You just need information to go to the next level. Remember, only 3% of all the SAG after actors that are out there, I mean, across the world, is employed right now. Out of 200 and something thousand people that are members of the Actors Guild, only 3% of that is actually working. So you guys waiting on Hollywood or your dream of being in Hollywood, that's, you know what I mean? Y'all got to figure something else out. Y'all got to do it yourself. Whatever roles that you expected to get from there, you got to create it yourself, or you got to get with people who are creating it. That way, you don't have to worry about waiting on your next job, your next gig, and you create that, right? So that's what we're doing. So we don't wait, we create. We got a bunch of other people that's going to be in the building giving it out. We got Yessie Rodriguez will be in the building. If you guys want to sharpen your tool and be better at acting and being in front of the camera and doing the best that you can to go ahead and land those auditions, if you want to audition for other projects and stuff like that, then you want to be in the building. She is giving out information on how you guys can get into her acting class or her acting academy, either one, and you can figure this out and keep moving. That's what we're doing. We got your boy Donald Monroe. I call him Don, but he gonna be in the building. So for all you models, he's trying to help you guys to not be out here just using your modeling for a hobby. You could turn it into profit. Why not? You guys are always running up and down somebody's walkway, somebody's fashion show, doing all these other things with designers that got y'all in there, but they don't ever give y'all the opportunity to make money. And what I mean by that is that if you guys are brand ambassadors for these brands or these designs, then damn, that should be the vibe. Like when we see models, every picture, everything they put up should be that, right? Because it also brings something back, not just to the model, but to the brand itself, and everybody help each other. That's how you move it around, not just showing off what you look like. If that's all you want to do is get attention because you look a certain way, then I don't know if we can consider that modeling. Because for all the people out there that understands what a model helps sell whatever the product that they're modeling. It's not just because they look a certain way. They just want to show what they look like. So if that's your vibe, then I bet. But if not, and you want to get to it, come through. Because Collective Wear, we looking for brand ambassadors all day long because we pay. Because if they sell, we pay. That's just how I go. So if y'all going to be in the building, we're going to be there waiting for y'all as well too. All right. We also got, Uncle B in the building, Fitzhugh Huff, and he's a master marketer. So if anybody needs events marketed and all these other things, he'll be there. Y'all can chop it up with him. All right. Amber Dirksen will be in the building as well. She'll be covering it. And y'all know she does a lot of media coverage for a lot of different events all over the East Coast, from all the way from New York down to Florida, everywhere she's out covering, making sure that people's events that she's a part of gets out there. That's another thing. We don't have enough people out there who are looking to help put other people out there, especially what they're doing versus what they're doing. So we definitely appreciate her. We got Grammy nominated producer Mike Blaze will be in the building. So for all you artists, you guys want to be in the building. Why? Because we are putting together the artists, the models, the creators, everybody together so we could get these movies out. That's the vibe. Like, we need all of that for a complete movie. So we have to put all you guys together so you can stop chasing and you can start attracting. Okay? So for those of you guys that'll be interested, you know that the link to get the tickets will be in my bio or in the description. So y'all know the vibe. Just go ahead and get your tickets and be in the building. All right. Let's see. I'm also doing which is something I don't normally do, but I am doing this though, y'all. But I want to do a live webinar, right, with Daryl Stern. So what we're doing is we're going to show people how to go from zero per month to multi-figure revenue by leveraging your content. Number one, content is king. It's so much that people are missing about content. They keep looking, like I said, they keep looking for that viral moment instead of that real moment. Okay. I want to get y'all in with experts that have helped other people get millions of dollars a month. I want y'all to get that help, and I'm doing it for free. You could join me on the live if you want to. I got 7 more slots left for you to join me on the live, so you can ask some questions personally, or you can watch live and you can jump in the comments. Either way it goes, this is what we're doing on Sparking Conversation. I am not a gatekeeper. I feel like information is key, and freedom is the number one goal. We're not putting a dollar amount on freedom. All right. We got all these other things going on. We're going to get into that. Let me get into my rant. All right. Outside of that, y'all know we always talk about this health as well. If you guys look up the effects of parasites in your body, see if you have any of these symptoms. If so, click the link in the description. Get the parasite detox. Do your research. Do your research. Do your research. I promise y'all, they've been telling y'all that y'all been living with things that came passed down through your family, and it ain't nothing but that diet. Whatever you've been putting in your body, it's not none of this extra stuff they've been telling y'all. But I'm not a medical professional. That's why I said do your research and help yourself. Nobody's coming to help us, y'all. All right. So outside of that, y'all know we got the content out all the time. Tarot Reading Go Wrong Part 12 is on my page. Y'all go check it out. We are continuously growing and pushing the envelope when it comes to creating our own content and films and all of those different things. So thank y'all. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. All right, back. Let's do this real quick. I'm going to get into my rant because I got my guests. We got some things to talk about, and I want to make sure y'all get this information. I'm very grateful for her to come on the platform, right? And I say that about all my guests because why, y'all? You got to think about it. You know, people are coming and giving out information of things that they are moving around. And I tell y'all all the time, it doesn't have to be a person that y'all feel like is famous for the information to be valuable, right? Come on, y'all. We got to do better. So I'm about to bring her up in a minute. So we're going to get into her world. But until then, here's my rant. Let me tell y'all one thing about all of the stuff that's going on out here. Our emotions are the number one ways that they control us. I've been getting a lot of feedback based on things I've been saying on the podcast. And you know, a lot of people are in their emotions, so they don't even take time to understand the context of what's being said, right? It's too much going on, right? We got all these things that's trying to keep us separated. We always got this fake little race war they're trying to part between us, which I don't understand that. Like, yo, for real, if we are still out here walking around in 2026 not being able to spot whenever they trying to run the game on us in order to enact certain things on the low and using our emotions against us. Now they got us separated. I see so many clips, and now you got black and white people out here fighting for what? It's stupid. Like, yo, listen, I'm trying to tell y'all, man, at the end of the day, they don't care about none of us. I don't know why y'all think because you look a certain way, you're on the squad. You're not on the squad, yo. I promise you, you're not on their team. You're not. Right? It's people who look like me that's on their team that ain't on my team. I'm trying to tell y'all, these people that are out here running this shit, they don't care about us. Look at what's going on with the water situation. People are mad because we're using AI for flyers. Like they ain't been using AI the whole time. What you think Google has been? You don't use maps? You don't? Now all of a sudden you see a flyer out there that somebody used because they wanted to cut costs because they don't got time to be waiting on these people who claim that they're so good at, you know, graphic design and all that. Take 30 days for you to get a flyer back. Then they want to charge you $400 or $500 when you can just do it yourself. Like, why? And then you upset about that? But you guys have been using AI for the longest. Most of these apps and everything else we're using it. You don't use Uber? You don't use none of these things. All this stuff is AI, yo. I'm trying to figure it out. Is you picking and choosing what you like and what you don't like? Y'all reading the headlines and talking about them using water. They buying up all the water, and all you guys are up here talking about, man, we ain't gonna have no water. What you mean we ain't gonna have no water? How? If that was the case, then if they're doing that and they're showing y'all that they're buying up the water, then all that's saying up is for us is that we might have missed the ball on what we should have been investing in. They keep showing us each and every time, y'all, what their goal is, and y'all use it to get upset and then turn against each other. Now y'all on other people's posts commenting on their AI flyer, talking about they're part of the whole this, that, and I want to use the word retarded, but I guess I shouldn't, because that's one of those things that they say you're not supposed to use no more. But I promise y'all, some of y'all really are, because it doesn't make sense that you would look at that and then move around and find some way to be negative on somebody's post when you yourself gonna leave your house in a minute and turn your GPS on. Some of y'all use your GPS where you live at. You still don't even know your way around where you live at. You use a GPS for that. You using AI no matter what you thinking about. No matter what you trying to say, you've been using it. So what you gonna do? I mean, you can't be mad at everybody because of that. And then I hear the birthright citizenship is still going down. All right, bet, which I don't understand why Fam was even trying to push that, right? Because himself, his family is not originally from here either. So, like, what does that? It doesn't make sense, because that's why we know that he himself is not behind all this. Whoever those people behind him is who's trying to get these things to push through. Because how you going to use a person who is actually their children and everybody else, wives and everybody else is immigrants, and then they come over here, he had babies with him. Ain't that birthright citizenship too? His own children. So y'all got to know, if he's doing that, somebody behind him is telling him to do that. He don't want to do that corny shit, because look, and I'm not taking up for him. I'm just saying, do that make sense to y'all? Like, think about it. If y'all think the president is the one that's in charge, I'm sorry that y'all got stuck on that, because I'm telling y'all, that ain't it. These other billionaires and all these people running around here, these people are the ones that's pulling these strings and calling these shots in the background, y'all. You know what y'all should do? I don't normally do this, but y'all should do this. I want y'all to look at the movie Ready or Not Part 2. Boom. And that'll give you, just look at the opening scene of that. They'll let you know exactly what's going on out here. Facts. Other than that, we're not going to get too much into it, because I got my guest. I got to bring my guest up right now so we could get into her world. So let's do that right now. I do got some comments, but we'll get to that in a second. Hello, hello, hello.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, I'm glad to have you. I'm glad for you to be here.
Well, first of all, I just want to say congratulations on the success of the show, but also all the amazing things that you're doing. I love it. I'm here for it.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. We don't hear that often, right? But we have to tell ourselves that a lot, right? So thank you so much for doing that. But yeah, so let's do this. Let's introduce yourself to the audience, and then let them know who you are and why you're on the platform this evening.
Yeah, well, I'm on the platform because, I mean, the name is Spark, right? That's my real last name, right? So I thought, well, yeah, I got to be on there. I am Shay Sparks. I am a human integration and innovation coach and speaker, author, podcast host of the Shay Sparks Show. And let's spark this up. So let's light something up here.
I like that. I like that. So, I was thinking about that. Whenever I've had a lot of coaches on, right? But different types of life coaches, right? What was interesting to me is basically how you particularly coach. I think I have never heard of it until you, right? And I mean, I want to know, in your lamest way you can tell somebody, for a third grader, your style of coaching, how did you develop that? What is that actually? And let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so what it is I bring the HI to the AI. I bring the human integration to the innovation. So basically, what I have been learning in the AI world is really seeing how it affects us as humans. So, do you use AI? What AI do you use? Do you use Chat or Claude or something else?
Oh yeah, I use chat mostly for
Okay.
research and different things, and I have dabbled along with Claude. I've dabbled a little bit with Copilot. I've
Okay.
dabbled a little bit with Grok, just kind of trying to learn them, because
Yeah.
I've realized that they all tell a different story for the
They
same
do.
thing. And I
They
was like,
do.
well, how? Like, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
yeah, so
Well, and so let's pretend that you're going to use it for promoting your podcast, right?
gotcha.
So you go into Chat and you're like, I want to take my podcast from this to this, and it's going to give you a lot of information, right? Because all it's
Right.
doing is taking from the internet. That's what all mostly AI do,
Yeah.
is it's just an arm of, like you said, of Google, right? It's just taking
Hmm.
everything that's on Google and compiling it a little bit more. And what we have
Right.
found is that it gives you way too much information.
Mm.
And so then people get what we're calling decision fatigue, because
Yeah.
it'll give you so much that you're like, oh my gosh, I don't even know how to do this. I don't even know how to look through this. I can't even read all this. I mean, I don't know about you, but I know a lot of people who have ADD, ADHD. And so reading all of that text, it gets overwhelming. So you
Right.
talked about emotions before. So now we have overwhelm. Now we have fear because we think we're behind, right? We automatically
Right.
think we're behind, even though we're doing it. And then we have this decision fatigue, like, what do I do next? Because it's gave me 15 things, and now I'm overwhelmed with looking at those 15 things.
Gotcha.
And so what the human integration goes in, and what this is how I explain it, is as a solopreneur, is who I primarily work with, business owners, is that we see all of the things, right? Like, we're at ground level, we're looking out into the field and we see all the weeds, right? And we see that there's some operations, there's messaging and marketing, there might be strategy, there might be lead generation, like all these different things. And then there's more, and sales and all of that, right?
Right.
Monetization. And so what I do along with my client is we go above that and we take the 30,000-foot view and we look down and we narrow it, chunk it down, because I ask them good questions, and we chunk it down. And then we go and we pick up the one thing and we work on that with the AI.
Mm.
And I'm finding that when you are using AI, it's like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. This is so fantastic. This is great. But when you're using it as how you show up, then that is how AI is going to mirror back to you,
Mm.
right?
Yes.
So if
Yes.
you are, and not even knowing it, if you are like, oh, I'm fearful of making a decision, well, guess what it's going to do? It's going to give you a whole lot of information to make a decision on. But
Right.
if you tell it, like, hey, and be honest with it, and like, hey, and you build out what I like to call a DNA, or a business replica of who you are. And my cat's back there messing with my screen, so please forgive me. So when you build that out and you put that in a project, whether that's in chat or Claude, then everything that you put in there about that, you can then tell it how to come back to you. So you can say, give me only 3, ask me more questions before you tell me what to do. You can literally start to build a false rapport, because it's not human, right? A false rapport, but what you can do with it is really program it so that it can understand you, so you don't have those decision fatigues. So it can help you through that. If you said, this is great, but give it to me in a simple form, like I'm a 3rd grader, it will be able to
Right.
do that. And most people don't even think about doing that. In fact, I have a lot of clients that are like, well, I like to print it out and see it. And I printed out 96 pages after our session. And I'm like, yeah. So now you have a
Right.
mini book to read, right? So part of the
Right.
things that we do is we like, okay, so let's go in and say that only give me the next best step. And if I can give you, your audience, anything, is if when your AI is giving you a lot of information, always give them great feedback, because I'm all about positivity too, is saying, yeah, this is great, but give me the next best step.
Make
And
it go
then
further.
just doing that, it will tell you one thing rather than focusing on the 15 things or the 5 things that it gave you.
Right. And I think that's the thing about AI right now, right? Is that because people are not taking the time to learn it, they're just using it for whatever they're using it for. And they don't get that um the things that they're trying to put out there as far as AI is concerned, with the data centers and everything they're talking about with the water and stuff like that, because most people don't know about how the data centers need to be cooled, right? Because of those, the servers overheating and stuff like that. But then when most people realize that whenever we get into anything new or
Mm,
something that is unfamiliar with people, it automatically forms some type of uncomfortability for them, right? Where they
Right.
get uncomfortable, when they either get uncomfortable with a couple of things. One of them be don't necessarily want to learn more about it because somehow in their mind they feel like they're feeding into a system. And then there's those who look at it and then they're just telling it, like you said, hey, I want this, I want to run this business and give me everything about the business. And they get all this information about the business and then they don't know, like you said, how to break that down to individually creating the steps for yourself versus you stepping out and looking at the field and seeing the weeds because everybody's not a CEO brain. I just want to be real. It takes a real CEO brain to look at all 15 things that something give you and then being able to pick it out yourself. Like, okay, you
Right.
know what? This is what I need to do first right here. All right, look, can you focus on this part? Right. You got to know that if you have
Yes.
that mindset. But if that's not already you and you're used to being told what to do, then AI is definitely going to give you that because all they're going to do is tell you what you asked for and
Right.
then tell you what to do based on what you asked for, but not tell you how
Right.
to go about it. Just tell you what it is. Like, oh, you got to do this, do
Yep.
that, do that. Okay, but how do I do? That's
That's
where the
it.
disconnect come from.
Yep.
So, what do you think about that portion of the way people consume information? It got to be a different type of mindset. Do you
Mm.
focus on that with your clients, or is it
Absolutely.
okay? So,
Absolutely. I
how
totally
do you?
focus on mindset
Okay,
because a lot of times, well, let's pretend that they're already a business owner, right? And as a solopreneur, what are we doing? Everything.
everything
Right. We do everything. Not only do we do everything, where does it live? Up here.
up here,
It does not live in a SOP manual like a corporation would be, right? So it all lives up here. So one of the things that we focus on is taking people from the mindset of the practitioner, the doer in the business, to the business owner, that CEO that you were talking about, being the CEO of their company and not just the worker bee in the company.
right? And I looked at that in a couple of ways too, right? Because you as a solopreneur, you see the value in time.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
Oh
whereas
yeah.
there are people who are more 9 to 5 based who
Mm.
only see the value in the day.
Mm.
And what I mean by that is whatever hours that they use while the sun is up.
Mm.
That's that's the value that they see, right? And in that is normally given away to someone else or something else, right? But in return, it helps them with their comfort in their life, right? Whether it's pay their bills, and all the other things that they have. So whenever a person jumps out there saying, "Yo, I want to start my own business," but they never had the mindset to being that what you said, an entrepreneur. They had the mindset of always being a worker.
Mhm.
They still live a life of being told what to do.
Right.
Because we've all have been through that. When we go to a new job, they train us on their process and their
Mhm.
ways, and then they expect you to do that at a certain level based on what they taught you. They said, yo, this is how you do your job. You do this at a certain level, you may get X, Y, and Z, right? But this is me telling you what to do. You don't have to think about it. You just have to follow what I'm telling you. Then when you get out here on the entrepreneur end, you don't have nobody saying, here's the
Right.
process.
Right.
I'm gonna train you on how to. It's just that's the same thing with AI. Ain't nobody
Right.
come in and say, listen, right? I'm gonna train you how to use this in order to make the company better. Because
Yep.
that's what they tell you. You go into your 9 to 5, they're gonna train you on how to make their company better. So we have to have the same mindset with AI, right? Look, use it to make our company better, right?
Yes.
Or would you
Yes.
disagree with that? Is it more like,
No.
how would you
I
feel?
I totally 1,000% agree with you, and one of the things is that you mentioned on in the beginning was the time. So, do you want to trade dollars for hours continuously? Most people who start a business are thinking outside of that already, and they're like, I want more time back. So, how can I get more time back? Right? How can I make my time more valuable in the fact that it's not just about the dollars? It's not about just punching a clock. It means something I have something more meaningful, like whether that's spending more time with my family or vacationing, traveling, whatever it is that they want to do, volunteering. But there's something more real, right? And that's why it's like, okay, so what else is valuable? So how can we utilize AI to help you? So when you get this big long um answer, a response from the prompt that you put in there, how can we start minimizing that so you're not overwhelmed, you're not spending all these hours reading over it, right? And then you can implement it quickly, and then you can move on to the next thing. When you're
Right.
at a bit at a company, you're pretty much doing the one thing. I mean, not always, but most of the time you're doing the one thing over and over and over again. No, this is, you got to think on your feet and move and pivot and go to the next thing quickly, make a decision. And that's the other thing. A lot of people aren't used to making decisions so fast when they're
Right.
coming from an employee to an entrepreneur. I have one of my clients, her side business is, she is an author of children's books, but her main business is she's a dentist. So she
Right.
literally goes in, everything's already done. All she does is looks at her appointment and goes, okay, this is what I'm doing today. I'm doing a teeth cleaning, and then I'm doing a filling, and then blah, 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 right?
Right.
It's not where, okay, now you have to think about the structure of your time schedule in your business. How do you want to work? What would that look like? People don't think like that unless you're told to think like that.
Right.
But that's part of where the human integration comes, is because we integrate that human aspect. I say that I help you leverage AI so you don't lose that human spark.
Ah,
Pun
which is
intended.
what yeah, no, that's a great way to look at it because you're right. There is a thing about time, right? Because as an entrepreneur, you don't have a set hours of work anymore,
Right.
right? You may be at that 3, 4 o'clock in the morning having, up and making stuff happen, right? Because that may be the time where you get the most to yourself, depending on
Yeah.
what your living situation is, or when ideas hit you, right? And sometimes
Hmm.
they come in a dream, and sometimes, you may be just turning over to change positions and sleep, and you wake up a little bit, and then boom, here comes something right then and there. And you're
Yeah.
like, wait a minute, okay, well, hold on, I got to get up right now. That's the things that a 9 to 5 stops most people from doing. This is what
Hmm.
makes their light not spark anymore.
Yep.
Is because that creativeness, or that's the thing about downloads too, that I want to make sure that a lot of times with entrepreneur, I don't know if you agree with this or not, but it really is a spiritual thing as well too, because the
Mm-hmm.
ideas of whatever it is that you are pursuing as an entrepreneurial journey, those things are going to pop in your head. Now, when they
Hmm.
pop in your head, you have no control over it. You can't.
Right.
It could be 11 o'clock while you're sitting at your desk doing something else, and it's like, oh man, I wish I could. Then that's when it becomes, I
Hmm.
wish I could do this right now. Versus, man, when I get home, I have to do this. When you get home, then all these other things happen. This person needs your attention. That whatever happens, then very seldom people get to that thing. So I
Yeah.
wanted to tell a lot of people that's watching this that the entrepreneur thing don't come with a set of scheduled work hours. It
Mm-mm.
don't. All 24 hours is your work schedule. There's no more 9 to 5. There's no. It's a all day thing because you know in the midst of your sleep you may get it. You might be working even in your sleep because you're dreaming or you're visioning or you're
Yep.
getting those downloads. So what do you agree with that, like, or disagree, that entrepreneurial mindset, though, it's a lot of things that come to you spiritually where these downloads drop in your head at any given time, more so than it is just I'm gonna be a real estate. I'm a fix and flip homes. That's all I'm gonna do. I'm gonna fix and flip homes. Even when you sleep, it's gonna come up to you and say, "Yo, you know what? I should have looked here for this material." Something. Right? Or do you think that, it's more of just a mindset thing when it comes down to that?
Well, man, you are speaking my language. Yes, I 100,000% agree that yes,
Okay.
being an entrepreneur, I think even being creative is a
Yeah.
spiritual thing, right? Because like you said, downloads. I mean, think about how many times you've been in the shower, so your brain is somewhere else, but it does not hear the water. How many ideas have you gotten in the
Yeah.
shower, right? Because your brain isn't focused on the water. right?
Right. At
So if you
all.
actually listen to the water, you would actually hear how very loud it is.
Mm.
So it gives that background noise for your brain to like, oh, what about this? Sleep. You said it. Like sometimes I myself, I've woken up in the middle of the night with multiple ideas. And I'm like, oh gosh, I got to write this down. Or I'm like, okay, remember that in the morning. And then if I don't write it down, of course, it's gone. But you're right, absolutely right. I think there's something to be said for that. And I'll also say this about creativity and ideas. Some things I've learned. One of the things I've learned in, gosh, I've been an entrepreneur for since 2007, so almost
Gotcha.
20 years. And
Wow.
what I've learned or what I've found to be true is that a lot of times we as entrepreneurs believe that ideas is our or are our sorry for the grammar, our gift to hold on to, right? Like you
Right.
said, it is a gift from God. So we're spiritually holding on to this thing. We're like making sure no one knows about it. We're keeping it quiet. We're not talking about it. But let's think about it from a broader perspective. If they are a gift, maybe you're not supposed to do all the things that you're given.
Mm.
Maybe ideas are gifts to give away.
Gotcha.
And so one of the things that one of my businesses is a mastermind for this very reason. It is to really help people see that they can have all these ideas, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they're all for them to hoard and hold on to. That
Right.
when they have trusted friends, trusted boards, trusted other people in their peer group, so to speak, then they can give them away as a gift.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
And it'll come back. It'll always come back. Cause
absolutely.
I
Law of
mean,
reciprocity, it always comes back.
always comes back.
Yeah.
It never is a time where you don't give a person an idea that they may not have been thinking about. And whether they act on it or not, that it doesn't come back. And I think that's the one thing about whenever they use the cliche, don't kill the messenger. That is one of the things that a lot of people don't understand by being the messenger. Like sometimes because you tell somebody a great idea, even if they don't do it, it still makes room for you to get more of a download for yourself. Because, a lot of times we got to make room for new, right? And we
Yes.
be in our own way a lot of time by holding on to so much stuff like, you know what, I could do this, I could do that, wait, I'm gonna get around to it, versus saying, hey, yo, you know what, I got this idea, I can't really do it, but if you're something that you can do, this would be dope and I can help.
Right.
Right. I can't
Right.
spearhead it, I can't run it, but I can help. And we can make this happen. But you could be the head of it, you could do it, and this will be a thing. And I'll just help and we can work it out from that perspective. But that's the thing about entrepreneur too. It's a certain energy that we look for in people. And I think that's the thing that keeps it where it may look like you may be hoarding ideas, but it's not that. If people give off the energy, the one thing about entrepreneurs I will say is that we have this innate ability to be able to take people for who they say they are, right?
Mm.
When a person shows us who they are, we can just say, okay, well, that's you. We can't always give people the benefit of the doubt. And I think that's what it is. It's like saying that I think knowing that you can see a person's potential, right? But then they're showing you that potential is not their goal, then you see that and you be like, well, damn, I can't tell them because I know they're not going to do nothing with it. And so that's the hardest part about being an entrepreneur who get those type of downloads is that, you might not always be around people who you can give that away to. So
Right.
then it turns into I guess I got to do it myself. Right. Because you understand that thing that you've been getting, that idea is not just for you. It comes to you because you're on a certain frequency, but the way God has it set up, he has other people that are on that frequency. It's just that if you don't get it, it's going to go to the next one. If this don't come, it's going to go to the next person that is on that frequency. Remember, these are all given to people who that I would assume, or God would assume, that would do it. That's the part that most people don't do. So earlier when you were saying about people not making decisions, is
Mm,
because they don't understand that the choice that they're given has come from God. Most
mhm.
people think that
Agreed.
God gives them the answer, not give them the choice, right?
Yes.
But
Yes.
God doesn't give us the answer, he gives us a choice. So if he say, hey, yo, this is it. I think you should put an event together where you bring all these different people together and this is what you do. Now, what you do, we start working on that. This is why I did We
Mhm.
Don't Wait, We Create, but I can't worry about ticket sales either,
Right.
right? Because the ultimate goal is that exactly what the reason is to bring it together. Because if I wouldn't have acted on it, it would have been given to another person, whether
Right.
it's where I'm at or away. But you would know it when you see it yourself. So that's the one thing about it. I think people get the confusion whenever they think something comes from God. They don't understand that God gives us the choice to make
Mm,
too. He doesn't give us the answers to the choice to make, right?
agreed.
So I think that's one of the hardest parts about people understanding, whenever you're given something, just how valuable that download is. It's not just what you said earlier. I remember doing something like that too, where it's like, you know what, I'm gonna remember this in the morning. And boy, when the morning got here, I did not remember it.
Right.
You get what I'm
Right.
saying? And
Oh
then
yeah.
later on, you see somebody, it might have a different name or a different something. You see,
Uh-huh.
like, damn, I had that. I knew
Yep.
I and then now you kicking yourself like, damn,
Mhm.
now. So that's one of the things about that. And then I noticed this too, that God will show you that it was going to work. You just didn't believe or you didn't act on it. So that's why
Right.
for me, I've been one of those people that have jumped out the window on my ideas because of that. I'd rather jump out the window on a vision that was given and see it all the way through than for me to worry about about the idea coming to me and I don't know how I'm gonna do that. I don't know where I'm gonna get that from. So
So, I like to call what you just said the how, that process I call curious exploration. And that's just really being curious about, well, how could I do this? Or who could I share this with that can help me to the next level? Or what do I need to learn to get me there? And when you look at it from that lens, rather from the lens of how heavy this might feel, right? Or my God, how much responsibility am I going to have to take on now because for this
right,
idea? And you come from the lens of, "Ooh, I got chills on that." And you come from the lens of getting curious, like, well, what if I did this? What could happen? What would that look like? And then just
right,
opening the door. I actually just did this recently. I have had several people tell me that they went to their, so I'll share this with your audience and you too. Um, I've talked to several different people recently in the last 6 months about how they take their podcast to their local public television and now have a TV show on their public television.
right.
So I did that recently, just like 2 weeks ago. Funny. They were like, "Yes, we want you on. Yes, we already looked at your stuff. Yes, you have a fantastic premise. We only have 26 minutes though. You go an hour. What do you wanna do? Write us a proposal." And I said, "Well, what do you want? What do you need? Like, what if you could have waved the magic wand, what kind of show would really light you up?" Because these are the guys that are gonna, like, push for me to say yes or no, right? And they
Right.
gave me some ideas and I wrote them down and I'm like, "Yeah, this is totally doable. Absolutely." I had more questions. Emailed him the next day and I'm like, "Hey, I have a lot more questions." And it's, "Can you call me?" And um, he waited till the end of the day and he called me and, I said, "How you doing?" And he said, "Not good." I said, "Oh, what's going on?" And he said, "We got cut today." I go, "Today? I was just there yesterday." He goes, "I know. And I was so excited to working with you." But the whole entire program got cut. The whole entire public television got cut, and I went,
Wow.
"What?" But had I not taken that step, I wouldn't have been able to share that with your audience, number 1, that
Yeah.
they need to look into public television. Number 2, he validated that who I am as a host. He validated who I am as a podcaster, right? And I'm like,
Right.
"Got it, okay." So what's the next door? I don't know yet. Haven't really given much thought, to be quite honest, because I'm like, a lot of times I think that God works in my background here. I'm working
Yeah,
on other
yeah.
things out here, and he's working back here going, no, do this. The mastermind that I talked about, he gave me that idea in 2010, but I didn't know what it looked like yet. I didn't know what it
Right.
looked like until a year and a half ago. And then I'm like, got it. This is what it is. And it just came like that as I'm doing something else. And I'll tell you, since we're getting spiritual about this, if you don't mind. And I'm not scripture, so please do not be mad at me for not being versy or pulling out the right verse. But there is a story in the Bible that talks about God gives you the answer not when you're stopped in fear. He will
Right.
give you the answer when you're doing in obedience.
Mm-hmm.
So what does that mean? That means that you have to be moving for sometimes the idea, the details, the next step to come through. So it's not always about
Exactly.
going to AI. It's about allowing him to work in you so he can work through you. And so
Right.
I had the idea percolating back here, right? And it wasn't until I was literally at the time, my boyfriend at the time, we were remodeling his home, and I got a hammer and a chisel, and I'm tearing off the baseboard off of this bedroom. And it hit me like out of nowhere, like, oh, got it. I need a business partner for that idea. And I'm going to ask my podcast producer. Done. Yep, that's it. And that's how it started. And then
Yeah.
after I was talking with him, I'm like, this is what I'm thinking. He's like, we've talked about this. I go, I know, but I didn't realize that this is the idea I've been having since 2010 until now. So you just never
That's how.
know. You just never
Exactly.
know.
And I'm glad you said that, because that's the thing about doing, right? Whenever you stop something, you're gonna stop getting downloads for that, because you gotta be in it, like, right? Because the road to your purpose is gonna be a road where you're not gonna understand how you got there. You're just gonna understand what you did to get there, right? You saying, all right, so I
Yeah.
started off doing this. And then now, because like, say like for podcasting, which I like to tell a lot of people that podcasting, there are people who started a podcast who never did journalism before.
Mm-hmm.
And then whenever they get a podcast and then they realize that, hold on, I got to be able to mention something current or something that's going on because of substance, because people have these things going on in life that's affecting all of us. And then you wind up becoming a journalist. And then next thing you
Right.
know, you're out here looking and getting information that you wouldn't normally look for, or perspectives that you wouldn't normally look for,
Right.
because most of the time before we did podcasting, whenever you become a journalist, you either right or left. Then
Right.
when you becoming in this space where you are considered a journalist, you got to be in the middle. You got to look at the good and bad on both sides. You can't just be one or the other. And then you realize that, oh wait, hold on, I'm doing this, and then next thing you know, I got somebody reaching out to me for a radio. Wait, hold on, now they want
Yep.
me on radio.
Yeah.
Like, wait, I never really knew, or I really thought. I always had it when I was a kid, saying, yeah, I'm gonna wind up being on the radio one day. And now this is 30, 40 years later, and you get an opportunity to be on the radio. You be like, wait a minute, hold on, because I did the podcast. Right. Not because you filled out a job application, not because you went down to the radio station and said, yo, I always wanted to be in radio, let me in. No, it's because you were already obedient in the steps that you had to take. Boy, I'm gonna tell you, a lot of the things that I've gotten is not because like I sat out. It was like I did one thing, and then an opportunity came from that led to
Yes.
another thing. I would have
Yes.
never in a
Yes.
million years thought to myself that I would be doing that. Even when it comes down to the podcast, to be honest, I never really thought that I would be doing a podcast. I wanted to produce comedy shows. That's basically what I wanted to do.
Gotcha.
So whenever I started my podcast, I took 2 years off from it, because I took that time to say, you know what? I want to produce comedy shows. And that's what I did. I did a comedy show called I Got Five on it, where I would get 5 comments to do 5 minutes,
I
right?
love it.
And I would go to different venues. They would have me. They would invite me there. I would go to different venues, bring these comics, bring the entertainment, and we would go on. I did that for 2 years straight, only for it to bring me right back to the podcast,
Mm-hmm.
because I had to figure out a way that because the comedians can't really market themselves because of their jokes, right? They got to be able to use those jokes in different places. It's not like music where you can sing the same song everywhere. Once a comedian sells a joke and it's out there, it's hard for them to reuse that joke. And they
Right.
need those jokes, right? Because that's how it goes. So I had to figure out a way to market and promote comedians, right? So they could bring more of a following because nobody's going to come watch you if they don't know you funny. We
Right.
can't promote that you funny because you can't give up none of so that led into me doing a podcast saying, hey, you know what? I bring the comedians on the podcast and then they could get their personality and boom, 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 boom. And now here we go. I don't
Yeah.
have nobody on here being funny. So it's like it don't work, right? But you
That's
did the
awesome.
right thing because you
Yeah.
was on your journey of your purpose and not just sitting to the side saying, I'm not gonna do this, I ain't doing that or whatever. So
I want to talk about, I want to interrupt you if you don't mind, because I
yeah,
got to say this point because I know we're coming to an end, but you bring tears to my eyes. So I love that you experienced that. When you said, first of all, journey for your purpose. Let me just tell everyone out there in your audience, your journey to your purpose is not how you planned it. Number one, it is not a straight line. Number two, and it is literally not the goal. It is never a goal. In fact, the goal needs to be thrown out the window and you need to be go through life on the curious exploration and path, that yellow brick road or red carpet, whatever you want to call it, and you just look for the door of opportunity. And that's what you did. Number one, let me tell you about my podcasting thing. When I was a little girl, I'm so old, you had to press record and play at the same
at the
time with
same
those
time.
old tape recorders, right? And the little microphone. And I pretended I had a radio show and I was the host and the guest and not Dr. Oz, what was her name? Dear Abby, right? Dear,
Yeah.
I was giving advice. Now here I'm a coach. Now I have a podcast. Now I was just pitching to have a TV show. Like, wait, what? Like, talk
Right.
about full circle moments. I was just at Military Creator Con and was speaking for the third time at Military Creator Con, and I have no affiliation to the military other than my dad was in the military. Now, when you talk about how did you get here, that is when you know you've been on purpose, is when
Yes.
you all of a sudden have an awareness and go, wait, how did I get here? And you can kind of look back and go, got it. That door led to that path that opened that door that led to that path and then opened that door. And you just keep being curious, exploring, asking the questions, opening the door, seeing what's in there. What do you have to learn? Who are you going to meet? What opportunity is there? And keep going.
And that's it. And don't be afraid to fail. Which is the number one thing that I think throws a lot of people off of their purpose because they think that in your purpose comes everything works out. It don't always work out, but it's not meant for you to throw it away because it didn't work that day. And I think there's so many people who walked away from their purpose because they equated it to God, right? And then they think that when something doesn't work, that's God's way of showing, because for some reason people think that God only operates in the good, but they never really understood that there was not a single solitary person in the Bible that was used by God that was perfect. Everybody has some type of flaw, right? Because
And they
even
all
when
had
it
to
comes,
learn lessons. And that's what
and they
those,
all had to go through something, right?
yeah.
Whenever I think about Jonah and the well, right? I know a lot of people say that's a metaphoric story, which I understand that too, right? In the sense of not really being inside of a real well and then being split out, right? I get that, but I understand what that means in life is about whenever you are supposed to do something else that God wants you to do and you say, no, I'm not going to do it, you wind up in the damn belly of the well. It's not
Yeah.
until you agree to actually get on path that you get out of the belly. And that's the one thing that I hope a lot of people get to take away from is that, yeah, y'all, you gotta be in the storm sometimes. It's never gonna work out for you if every day is sunny. You're gonna have to have those days where your guests don't show up. Your podcast is gonna go, but yeah, you might have people planned all the way up, and then they tell you the day of, oh, I'm not gonna make it, or they won't show. Right. And you still gotta do the show. Like you can't say, all right, well, I ain't got no guests. I guess, I ain't no, there are people who are looking for your particular scenario every time they look for you. So whether you got a guest or not, does the show still go on? And in those moments is when you're learning throughout your path just who got your back, because you make it through the show. And I've had so many canceled. Not I didn't cancel, but it was so many shows that I've had to do on my own because my guests didn't show up,
Right.
or they didn't can, or something. They may have told me that they couldn't make it, but it was the day of the show. Right? It's not like I could go call somebody else and say, "Hey, can I move you up a week?" No, I got people scheduled for a reason, so the show must go on. And I realized that in a lot of things that we do, because people have a spiritual connection to God, they expect everything to go right. They don't know that God operates in that space too, because the guests that you had come on, he's working in their life as well too, or whoever's scheduled. So you can't take it personal, right?
Yeah.
Like I can't get up here on the next show and be like, you know what? Well, people should not be booking, and they no. I don't even mention it. Like, right? Like,
Right.
there's no need for that, because you have no idea what these people are going through on their end. You can't just be worried about your show. Your show, if you're doing things in your purpose, that means everybody that come on is in theirs. And if they don't make it, then that's on them, not you. Keep going.
Right.
Right. So
Yeah.
that's the type of thing that I just wanted to give that example out to people, because there's other things that people may be doing. You know, they may be an artist, a great artist, and they won't pick, there's no art galleries that'll pick up their art. Doesn't mean that you're not a great artist.
Right.
You just might have to link up with somebody who could take that art of yours and maybe put it on a t-shirt. You might need to give it a clothing line. Right. And but that's the thing that I think is the beauty about being a creative, is that you can see the solution where there's only people who see the problem. Right? You can see the answer, not the problem.
Yes.
People see the problem and they don't get the answer because they're too busy looking at the problem. Whereas me, I see the answer. The problem is good. Like oh, that's it. Well, then what about? So let's do this.
Yep.
Not, oh man, that's that. Oh man, it's like, oh man, no, like, yo, look, but then what about this? But then when the person, if you're talking to a person that only see the problem, then their energy, their flesh won't allow them to see the answer, because all they can see is the problem. And I don't really like, and to be honest with you, I don't like that. I really don't. There's a few things in life that I don't like. One of those is the energy from people who only see the problem and never a solution. I don't like it at all. And I don't even like to even entertain those type of conversations with people when they do that. Right? Because that's why I only have a certain amount of friends, because those people can't do that to me. You can't come to me with just a problem and then it's like, oh, word, what about this? Yeah, but oh well, yeah, you want to stay where you at. Now you don't want to move. You want to keep going. So look, I want people to be able to understand how they could get with you, man, because integrating the human functions, right? The regular human everyday functions in with the artificial intelligence, which you still gotta have intelligence to use artificial intelligence.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I think that's very important for people to understand that balance, yo. So how can they get with you in order to become a client of yours, or allow you to coach them, or get your reading material, whatever they need to do to break that mindset of saying that, oh man, I'm too old, or I'm not smart enough to get this AI or whatever. How can people get with you to break that mindset?
Yeah, so you can find me on pretty much any social platform. I am not on TikTok though, so I am on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, LinkedIn at Shay Sparks. That's SHASPARKS. And you can find me there, send me a message, mention that you saw me on the show, and I would love to connect with you. I do one-offs if needed, and I also sell packages as well, depending on what you're looking for. But I will say that just having a conversation with me, reaching out to me is like the best thing to do, and then we can go from there, because that's so important, is to really just connect with people. Again, it's that human integration and interaction with the innovation.
Gotcha. So I meant I got to start asking this to all the coaches, because it's just something that dropped in me that I should make sure that I ask. Do you, or are you open? Do you do any type of mentorship? Because I noticed that people there's a difference between mentorship and then there's a difference between people who are being coached, right? Because mentors tell you and show you exactly what to do, where, in other words, coaches try to help you figure it out for yourself, if that is a thing. But do you, or is there something that's coming down the pipe for you to be a mentor in this space, or what?
So, sort of. So, what we do in
Okay.
the mastermind is kind of that. It's the mentorship. Like,
Okay.
we'll tell people what to do. It's not all about, and I say coaching. I am a consultant with that as well. But
Okay.
the mastermind is really, for me, is like the best place to go for that.
Yeah.
Because you're not just getting a mentorship from me, you're getting it from other people who have been out there as well. Especially when
Gotcha.
you think about the solopreneurs, right? We're all working primarily, most of us are working in our homes. And
Yes.
so this isolation and this belief that we've been fed that leaders have to, it's lonely at the top, is false, right?
Right.
It doesn't have to be lonely at the top, especially when you get around like-minded and like-hearted people
People.
who are really focused on the purpose. They're focused
Right.
on purpose-driven, um, whether they're creating something or whether their businesses, the business itself is what they're creating. When you get around other people who are using that type of mindset, then
Yeah.
you go farther together. So as far as
Yes.
mentorship goes, I would definitely say it's called the Makers Machine, and you can find out more information at themakersmachine.com.
There it is. I just wanted to make sure we get that, because there's a lot of people who can use that coaching, right? It's people who have the money and they just don't know the way, and they just need to be able to get that way going, and they'll triple and quadruple their net worth just by making sure that they can take the necessary steps of people who already made the mistakes, because mentors
Mhm.
really teach you to avoid the mistakes
Yes.
they made, right? And I
Agreed.
think that's what life is, right? We like to let people know about the bad, but sometimes we got to let them know about the things that we overcame that we couldn't help, right? Which is one of the things that a lot of people keep to themselves, because it's a little embarrassing for them to say, "Hey, I went through this and I didn't even want to." But
Yeah.
it's not that. It's just that, we all are going through something that may be seeming embarrassing, but we're going to get it. People go through divorces, breakups, lose their
Every day.
jobs, they get laid off all the time. And, those things stop people from moving forward in their purpose. But what I want everybody that watch tonight to know is that, um, it's called self-esteem, self-motivation, and self-belief for a reason, because you have to believe in yourself first. Before you can worry about whether other people around you are going to believe in your ideas, your visions, and dreams, just know that they weren't given to them, they were given to you. The only difference is we have to make the choices about the people who we like to walk beside us, because everybody's not meant to go with us to whatever that next level is. And some of y'all, your next level is being blocked because of who you have around you. Just remember, the things that we think that we're losing are not it at all. We will gain more than we lose at the things that we felt like is a loss.
Mm.
So thank y'all so much for tuning in. Y'all know the vibes. Each and every week, I am going to talk to some of the world's most interesting people, and we're not going to stop. So if you yourself have a story and you would like to get it on the platform, y'all know what to do. All you got to do is hit me up at spartanconversation@gmail.com. Put in the subject story and then tell me a little bit about what you want to talk about. And if it fits the platform, I definitely will try to schedule you to bring you on. Other than that, Shad, don't go nowhere. I'm about to, after my intro, then we'll talk a little bit offline. But for everybody else, y'all know what to do. Be here, be square next week. And don't forget, if you don't believe in yourself, nobody else will. So until next week, y'all, peace.
Let's roll. Co-pilot on the passenger side, be so fly. Yeah. She so lit, we so high. Just me and my chick, yeah. Just me and my chick, yeah. Co-pilot on the passenger side, be so fly. Yeah. She so lit, we so high. Just me and my chick, yeah. Just me and my chick, yeah. She give me A.